The female prisoner just glanced at the bolt of the table leg. The next second, a bold escape plan was formed in her mind, so she deliberately overturned the plate as expected. The guard immediately scolded her and asked her to clean it up, but this just gave the woman a chance to squat down. Then, the woman used the guard's blind spot and quietly began to unscrew the bolts, but the cunning prison guard still noticed something was wrong with the woman, so he came to investigate. Just at this critical moment, fortunately, a death row inmate deliberately spread the hot rice porridge onto his arm and shouted to the guard, "My arm was scalded," which diverted the guard's attention. The woman finally used all her strength to unscrew the bolt. She thought it was going smoothly, but when the woman returned to her cell from the restaurant, something went wrong. Because as a new prisoner, she naturally didn't notice that the prison guards had already installed metal detectors. So with the alarm sounding, the guards quickly, they pointed their black muzzles, aimed at the woman. Seeing the woman silent, a prison guard had to hold a metal detector, began to scan her body, but they didn't know that the bolt was hidden in her sock. The metal detector was approaching her ankle, and her heart was already in her throat. It turned out that the woman was a senior engineer, but she chose the wrong path. But she focused on robbing a bank, and what's even more mysterious is that she refused to leave after robbing the money, and even encouraged the security guard to call the police. Even when the police came, she complied obediently. What's even more bizarre is that the court sentenced her to 25 years in prison. She was overjoyed, and what's even more incredible is that his cellmate turned out to be his own daughter. When he saw his daughter holding glass shards and was about to cut her artery, he just stood there motionless. He just stood by and watched, but he never thought. When she saw the prison guard leave, the woman suddenly rushed towards her daughter, saving her from the brink of death. The reason why the woman calculated so much to be imprisoned was actually to help her daughter escape from this death prison. It turned out that her daughter was bullied by a bully not long ago. She couldn't bear the humiliation and picked up a knife and stabbed the bully in the neck. Unfortunately, the bully had a lot of power in Country A. The daughter, who was in self-defense, was sentenced to death, even though the woman presented the evidence of the bully's crime, kneeling on her knees and begging the judge for justice, but found that all the judges here were surnamed Keon. None of them believed in the law, resulting in her daughter being imprisoned in the most secure Dark River prison in the country, waiting for execution 1 month later. In desperation, the woman had to use her own way to save her daughter, so she robbed a bank to put herself and her daughter into the same cell. When her daughter knew her mother's purpose, her daughter was shocked because the Dark River prison is unbreakable and heavily guarded. Not even a mosquito can fly out, not to mention the two of them escaping together. But she didn't know this prison was designed by the woman herself 20 years ago. Later, because she reported the shoddy project, she was banned. So she had to open a small restaurant to make a living. But her stupid daughter is still worried. After all, it's been 20 years. How could she remember clearly now?
不要急，我带在身上。
Then the woman turned around and directly lifted her shirt. What caught her eyes was a Greek goddess tattoo, but no design drawings were found.
不只是我，你再仔细看看。
It turned out that before she was imprisoned, had already embroidered the design of the Dark River in an extremely secret way on her back. But the first thing to do next was to prepare tools for the escape.
不暇，我还需要一个工具，食堂餐桌下的一颗螺栓。
So I came to the scene at the beginning of the video. With the help of her daughter, the woman finally got the bolt from the pig's leg, the bolt on the pig's leg, but she still miscalculated. When she returned to the cell, the bolt triggered the